welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, with our main topic today in the breakfast show. Since President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi came to office, he gave very good care to the housing projects in Egypt, and actually there were several and a large number of housing projects in Egypt, in several governorates, in several places in Cairo. Well, to shed more light on this, we have the pleasure to have this phone with Dr. Ahmed Hadidi, Professor of Urban Planning. Good morning, Dr. Hadidi.
Good morning. How are you?
How are you, sir? Well, Dr. Hadidi, how do you see the state keenness and President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi's keenness since he came to office to give very good care on establishing housing projects, new housing projects in Egypt?
Actually, since the establishment of Egypt's Vision 2030 during the Economic Forum in Sharm el-Sheikh in 2015, I can see that the Egyptian government is working hard, trying to achieve all the objectives of the Egyptian Agenda for 2030 by establishment of new communities and rehabilitation and reconstruction of the slums in Egypt. As we can see right now, a lot of communities have been upgraded in Egypt, like Al Asmarat, and many other communities have been established in Egypt, like New Bursaid City, New Ismailia City, Al Galala, and so on. So we can see a lot of progress in the construction sector in Egypt, especially in the residential projects or in the housing projects.
Yes, so Dr. Hadidi, let's start with the very important projects concerning transferring the slums to very good and developed urbans or housing projects in Egypt, like as you've just mentioned as an example, the Al Asmarat project and other projects, like for example in the Badr City, which was recently inaugurated by President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi 3 or 4 months ago.
Yeah, His Excellency President Sisi is working hard right now in order to upgrade all the slums in Egypt to provide a sustainable conditions and good standards for people living in Egypt, for boosting the 3 pillars of sustainability, which are the economy, the society, and the environment, maintaining a good living standards for the citizens in Egypt right now.
Yes. So, Dr. Hadidi, how do you see the importance of the projects for slum areas as one of the very important steps that were taken by President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi since he came to office?
Actually, we are not talking here now about the slums only, but a lot of other projects have been established in Egypt, like Second
Yes, we are going to
talk
about other projects, but mainly transferring people from very bad areas or slum areas to very developed places and housing projects.
This is a very good step for increasing the satisfaction of citizens, because people were not satisfied with their living conditions, living in slums, or don't have the minimum standards for more than 2 or 3 decades living in such poor conditions. But now the government is taking that in consideration and putting that in its top priorities in its agenda by upgrading all the slums all over Egypt. And we can see the initiatives taken by Haya Karima, which is a presidential initiative, and President Sisi cares a lot about the initiatives taken by Haya Karima for maintaining good living standards for the people in Egypt, especially those who don't have a good source of clean water, minimum good living standards for housing, and so on. So we can see that Haya Karima is a powerful initiative under the umbrella of the presidency, taken by a lot of youths in Egypt. And we can see a lot of upgrades right now for the slums in Egypt as one of the priorities of the President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi.
Yes, of course, Decent Life is one of the very great projects that were launched by President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, or initiatives, of course, that is going to provide or raise the standards of living of more than 53 million Egyptian citizens. So let's talk now, Dr. Hadidi, about the new cities established that were also projects raised or established by President Fattah al-Sisi or under his directives, like for example El Galala Plateau, El Alamein City, the new administrative capital. Of course, we are would like to shed more light on it and other projects in Egypt.
The Egyptian government, led by President Sisi, focused now on a critical issue, which is the horizontal expansion, not the vertical expansion. Accordingly, the Egyptian government is taking in its consideration the decentralization and getting out of the Nile Delta by expanding into the desert and expanding into other remote areas in order to establish new communities to mitigate and reduce the congestion which we are living in its situation for more than 50 or 60 years in the Nile Delta by establishment of El Galala, of new administrative capital, and other new cities like New Ismailia City, New Port Said City, and so on. Excuse me?
Also in Dumyat and Mansoura.
A new Dumyat City, yes. And so on. Of course. All of these coincides with the concept of the horizontal expansion, not a vertical expansion. And this makes use of a lot of the unused areas in Egypt, because for more than 50 or 60 years we are living in only 5% of the total area of Egypt, and 95% are undeveloped areas. So we can see a lot of mega projects are developed in Egypt, especially the focus of President Sisi on the development of Upper Egypt. Over the past 3 months, we have seen a lot of infrastructure projects which were executed in Upper Egypt. So we can see that a lot of projects have been developed in the east and west and north and south of Egypt to make use of all the unused areas in Egypt to avoid the congestion in the Nile Delta and enhance and boost the concept of decentralization in the Nile Delta.
Yes, Dr. Hadidi, you've just raised a very important point now concerning Upper Egypt, and that President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi is giving very good care to Upper Egypt, which is Upper Egypt that was forgotten for years before President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi came to office, and that was clear and very clear because, as we all know, the initiative of Decent Life have started from Upper Egypt, isn't it?
Yes. Haya Karima played an important role over the past 3 months. Over the past 3 months, 3 years, I'm sorry, by participating in a lot of projects, not only for the infrastructure or the housing project, but also for capacity building. Haya Karima played an important role in people's lives over there. They started to do a lot of capacity building projects for educating young people and illiterate people, and for enhancing the education system in Upper Egypt. So actually, what I like about Haya Karima initiative and the role played in Upper Egypt is not only building residential buildings, but also building the human being, for educating people, for building the capacities of people over there to establish an advanced community in Upper Egypt.
Yes.
This is very interesting.
Yes, as you've just mentioned, let's shed light more on the, for example, the slum areas that was transferred to housing projects. We can see, how do you see, in your point of view, or evaluate the way the housing projects for the slum areas were built, and the planning of these buildings or housing projects, as we can see, like in El Asmarat, we don't just see houses that was just built beside each other. No, we can see that it's an integrated place or housing project that have playgrounds and a place for people, for the youth and the children to play sports, for example. So give us your point of view concerning the planning of these areas.
What I can see that the buildings over there were built in a nice way, in a very good planning, maintaining the good spaces between buildings, maintaining a lot of green areas, providing a good community for people living in it. And moreover, I think that the prices of these units are affordable for people living there. So I think that the community is sustainable, maintaining the triple bottom line of sustainability regarding the financial aspect, regarding the environmental aspect, regarding the societal aspect. So I think that the community is a sustainable community. It took in consideration the different aspects of sustainability, and I think that this way is upgrading the people's life and maintaining a good living standard for them.
Yes. So, Dr. Hadidi, as we can see, it's very clear that, for example, El Galala Plateau or city, we can see an integrated city, not just a resort on the built on the sea or something. Also, the El Alamein city is an integrated city.
Yes. So let's define what's meant by integrated city.
Yes,
integrated
it has all the. Yes,
has
please.
all the facilities.
Yes,
having all the facilities. So, like if we shed the light on the Alamein city, instead of putting in consideration or having the old concept that the Alamein and North Coast is a place for only the summer season,
yes,
we can see that Al Alamein became an integrated city, having all the educational services, having Al Alamein University, and having a lot of schools over there, and having the other services needed by the citizen. So we can see that all of these cities became an integrated city, providing all the services needed by the people to maintain their life without being in a need to transfer to other places to acquire these services like education and so on. So the community became integrated. It provides all the services needed for the citizens in one place.
Yes, that was really the good idea of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, and that was clear in his statements in several occasions that he wanted to make benefit of these areas in the coastal as in the north coast, and not just a place that is to be visited only in summer, but to make use of it for the whole year. Yes. Concerning Dr. Hadidi, concerning also providing transportation and roads and bridges for the new housing projects, could you give us your insight concerning this?
So right now the government is constructing a lot of bridges, a lot of regional roads for connecting the different governorates in Egypt and connecting two faraway governorates from each other together. So we can see a lot of regional roads are constructed in Egypt, which reduce the traffic congestion, which reduce the time spent by people during traveling from one place to another, which consequently has a good environmental impact by reducing the emissions of cars and by reducing the fuel consumption and so on. So actually the good traffic network is not only an economical, it's not only of an economical benefit, but it also has other two aspects, which are the society and the environment. So even the traffic network being executed nowadays in Egypt is maintaining the triple bottom line of sustainability, is taking into consideration the sustainability, the different sustainability aspects for the Egyptian society.
Yes, Dr. Ahmed Al-Hadidi, thank you very much for joining us over the phone. Dr. Ahmed Al-Hadidi, Professor of Urban Planning, thank you very much for your valuable information. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for following me in this segment of The Breakfast Show. I leave you with the rest of the segments with my colleague Shireen Adel.